We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out.
Adam Silver just watched the WNBA's Golden Goose confirm she's missing the All-Star Game due to another injury, and the timing couldn't be worse. With CBA negotiations unraveling and the threat of a lockout on the horizon, Caitlin Clark's absence from the league's biggest weekend has NBA leadership deeply concerned. The warnings are coming from the top. Is Adam Silver right to worry about how the WNBA is protecting its most valuable asset during such a critical moment? Let me explain what just happened, and why it's potentially catastrophic for the WNBA. On Thursday afternoon, Caitlin Clark announced she will not participate in Saturday's All-Star Game or Friday's three-point contest after aggravating a right groin injury earlier in the week. But here's the kicker: this isn't just any weekend. It's happening in the middle of pivotal CBA negotiations that could determine whether the WNBA even has a 2026 season.
I'll leave the specific question to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. I mean, I other than as a fan, obviously, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly.
Adam Silver has previously stated, of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league. Watching the WNBA's biggest star miss its marquee event due to what appears to be injury mismanagement is likely raising serious red flags. When the commissioner of a partner league publicly voices concerns about player treatment, it's not just a suggestion, it's a warning shot.
She would be. Shortly before the show, Clark released this statement through the Fever's social media account saying that she's so excited for Indiana to host WNBA All-Star this weekend, and that she says she knows that this is going to be the best All-Star yet. But she does go on to say how incredibly sad and, quote, disappointed she will be able to participate, adding, quote, I have to rest my body. I'll still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all of the action. I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach.
The timing of Clark's injury announcement couldn't be worse for the WNBA, and it's time to hold accountable those responsible for this unfolding disaster. Cathy Engelbert has failed as commissioner when it comes to protecting the league's most valuable asset. Sports columnist Christine Brennan has publicly criticized Engelbert, pointing out that she often struggles to speak directly about Caitlin Clark. When asked specifically about Clark, Engelbert frequently brings up other players like Angel Reese instead. But let's be clear, she wasn't asked about Angel. She was asked about Caitlin.
In terms of the comments, in terms of the way the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, who I've known and I like, the way she has trouble talking about Caitlin Clark, or if she's asked about Caitlin, then she will say, well, Caitlin and Angel. Well, she wasn't asked about Angel. She was asked about Caitlin. This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious. It is astounding to me how Cathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabry hit and say, that's unacceptable, the refs got it wrong. Okay, should have been kicked out then. You were.
This is the commissioner who's supposed to be promoting the league's biggest star, yet she can't even mention Caitlin Clark's name without deflecting to other players. That's not leadership, that's organizational incompetence at the highest level. The numbers paint a brutal picture of what happens when Clark is out of the lineup. Nationally televised WNBA viewership is down 55% since her injury. The Indiana Fever's national TV games have dropped from an average of 181 million viewers before her injury to just 847,000 afterward, a staggering 53% decline. That represents millions of dollars in lost revenue. And yet Engelbert is acting like everything's fine. Now let's talk about the officiating disaster that helped bring us to this point. According to kinesiologist Dr. Lucas Seehafer, there have been 141 injuries since opening day. That's in a league with just 179 active players and only 44 games played per team so far. That's insane and should have Engelbert demanding immediate, systemic changes. Instead, she's shown all the firmness of a silk dress in addressing what has clearly become a league-wide crisis.
The ball handler. There's a grab. There's a hold. There's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul. And finally, they call.
The officiating has been so poor that even WNBA legend Rebecca Lobo felt compelled to call it out on live television. During a game, she said, "There's a grab. There's a hold. There's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And then here that's a foul. That's a foul." Clark was being repeatedly fouled with no calls, and when Hall of Famers are publicly criticizing officials in real time, it's no longer just bad officiating, it's a systemic failure. Clark's own coach has also been forced to speak out. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White didn't mince words, saying, "I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. The disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable." When coaches start using words like egregious and disrespect, it's not just competitive frustration, it's a clear indictment of organizational dysfunction at the officiating level.
Who is played 9 years in Indiana and now on the staff. And that's a live shot now. Okay.
Perhaps the most damning indictment of WNBA officiating came after the Fever's game against the Connecticut Sun, where Caitlin Clark was repeatedly targeted with physical play. Head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. In a multi-minute post-game rant, she said, "Everybody's getting better except the officials," slamming Tuesday's referees for losing control of the game. But her criticism didn't stop there. She took aim at the league and its officials as a whole for their continued failure to improve. It was a blunt, public rebuke that underscored just how deep the officiating crisis has become.
And the game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we got to find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
She continued, "Every year when we have our league meetings in the fall and in the spring, we say the same thing over and over and over, and nothing has changed." That level of frustration, coming from a head coach, speaks volumes. It's not just about one bad night or one missed call. It's about a pattern of inaction and a league leadership that appears unwilling or unable to fix a problem that everyone inside the game is acknowledging.
That you guys as an organization are doing, I mean, you're speaking out at this point, but anything more that you are doing or you hope to do to engage in the league and addressing these issues with the officiating that you've been very vocal with? No, I mean, I think every year when we have our league meetings in the fall and in the spring, we say the same thing over and over and over.
That's a head coach publicly stating the league has known about officiating problems for years and done absolutely nothing to fix them. Under Kathy Engelbert's leadership, officiating has deteriorated even as the WNBA has grown in popularity, relevance, and financial importance. The specific events that led to Caitlin Clark's most recent injury are textbook examples of officiating failure. During a dead ball, Marina Mabrey blatantly shoved Clark to the ground. The referees initially gave only a technical foul. It wasn't until massive public backlash that the WNBA upgraded the call to a flagrant 2, an embarrassing admission that the officials got it wrong in real time. Even Clark's brother, Colin, called out the league, tweeting, "Make no mistake, this is on the reffing after watching his sister suffer due to poor game management." That's not just family frustration, that's someone watching a loved one get hurt because the league's officials refuse to do their jobs. And Engelbert's response? Absolutely pathetic. When confronted with concerns about officiating, the commissioner said, "I do find it interesting, when you sit in the chair I sit in, that no winning team ever complains about officiating. No losing team ever doesn't complain about officiating. That's not leadership, that's dismissive arrogance from someone who clearly does not understand the scope or severity of the problem." The business implications are enormous. In 2024, 23 WNBA games drew over 1 million viewers. Clark appeared in 20 of them. You have to scroll to number 15 on the most-watched games list to find the first game that didn't involve the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark is literally carrying the league's national viewership, and Engelbert can't even keep her healthy. The financial stakes are staggering. ESPN saw a 170% increase in WNBA ratings, rising from 454,000 to over 1.2 million average viewers, all fueled by Clark. ION also saw a 133% increase from 2023. Sports betting activity on Fever games dropped nearly 50% in the week after Clark's injury. These are not minor fluctuations. These are millions of dollars lost instantly when Caitlin Clark is not on the court. And this isn't a one-off problem. It's a season-long pattern. Tuesday's game between the Fever and the Sun featured 5 technicals, 3 ejections, 2 flagrant fouls, and 0 control from the officials. This wasn't just a chippy game, it was chaos, and the officials completely lost control. And they've been allowed to do so without accountability or professional standards. Silver's warnings go deeper than safety. Adam Silver has praised the attention Clark brings to the sport as very healthy for women's basketball, but has also voiced serious concern over how she's being treated on the court. When a commissioner from a partner league speaks publicly like that, it's not just advice, it's a subtle ultimatum. Silver and the NBA are watching closely, and they're not impressed. When the NBA commissioner is publicly expressing concern about how WNBA players are being treated, that's not just polite observation, it's diplomatic code for fix this mess before we're forced to step in. The officiating crisis in the WNBA extends far beyond Caitlin Clark. Just ask Kelsey Plum, who unleashed a raw, profane rant after being repeatedly fouled without calls, saying, "I get fouled like that on every possession. There are multiple shots where they're just coming out and swinging and they don't call anything." This isn't about one player. It's a league-wide problem that's disproportionately affecting the stars who drive its success. And the timing couldn't be worse. The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game is being hosted in Indianapolis, Clark's home state. Her face is everywhere: the airport, the arena, the hotels. The city literally branded the entire weekend around her. But she's watching from the bench, sidelined by injuries stemming from months of uncontrolled, unpunished physical play. That alone is a PR disaster. But combined with the looming CBA crisis, it's a full-blown emergency. With the current agreement expiring October 31, 2025, players are already bracing for a work stoppage. Now, the league's biggest star, the face of its growth, is missing the All-Star Game due to what many view as injury mismanagement. An Iron Woman, now constantly injured. The context makes this even worse. Caitlin Clark never missed a game in college. She didn't miss a single game to start her pro career. But this season, she's already been sidelined twice, 5 games with a quad injury in May, and now 5 more with a groin injury. This isn't bad luck. It's what happens when physical abuse goes unchecked. Sports analyst Rachel Demita said it best: "You can't mess around with injuries that are moving around your body. It means something mechanically isn't tracking right." The message: Clark's body is breaking down under unnecessary contact. The officiating isn't just affecting fairness, it's actively damaging the league's most valuable player. The financial stakes are massive, let's be clear. The WNBA's entire economic boom is tied to Clark. Her return game drew 2 million viewers, peaking at 2.8 million, a 76% spike over last season's average on ABC. Of the top 10 most-watched WNBA games since 2002, all happened this year and all featured Clark. In 2024, 23 games crossed the 1 million viewer mark. Clark played in 20 of them. ESPN's average WNBA viewership jumped 170%. ION's rose 133%, all during Clark's rookie year. Sportsbook saw a 50% drop in betting activity on Fever games within a week of Clark's injury. And it goes deeper. Clark's Iowa finale drew 12.3 million viewers, the most-watched women's college game ever. Her Final Four game against UConn? 14.2 million viewers, the most-watched basketball game in ESPN history. This is someone who has proven she can deliver audiences that rival and sometimes surpass the men's game. And yet the WNBA can't keep her healthy. Promotion failure. Organizational malpractice veteran columnist Christine Brennan, while complimentary of Engelbert personally, recently said the quiet part out loud: the league office has to do better in promoting their most popular entity to further grow the fan base. That's a veteran journalist publicly calling out the commissioner, and rightly so. Fans are joining in too. Online petitions are circulating, demanding officiating reform. One reads, "Since Caitlin Clark's arrival to the league, games involving the Indiana Fever have repeatedly been marred by questionable officiating, missed calls, and a lack of appropriate disciplinary action for overly aggressive and dangerous play." That's not a comment section, that's a revolt. A preventable disaster. The most damning aspect of all this? It was entirely preventable. Better officiating. Stronger leadership. A proactive approach to protecting stars. These basic steps could have avoided the current crisis. Instead, we have officials who aren't salaried, a pay-per-game structure, referees splitting time with NCAA basketball, inconsistent standards, and little accountability. This is amateur infrastructure running a billion-dollar product. And now the result. Your league's most important player is sitting out the All-Star game in her own home state, not because of rest, but because officials can't or won't protect her. Silver isn't just concerned, he's warning you. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver's public comments aren't just goodwill gestures. They're strategic signals. The NBA has skin in this game, and they're not happy with what they're seeing. When billion-dollar media deals and expansion plans are on the line, you cannot afford a commissioner and officiating crew this unprepared. Engelbert's failures in officiating, promotion, and player protection have now put the entire WNBA at risk. Officials can't protect Clark. Viewership collapses without her. And now, she's missing your biggest weekend of the year. Silver's warnings aren't suggestions. They're ultimatums. Fix the officiating. Protect your stars. Or watch everything you've built collapse.